What's up, everybody? This is Coach MJ, the coaching connoisseur, and I want to welcome you to our training broadcast for today. As you can see, today we're going to be talking about goals. And since it is right now what I refer to as New Year resolution season, I think this is a great time for us to talk some more about setting goals that actually land, that actually come to pass. It's so easy to say, oh, I'm going to lose some weight, or I want to save money this year. I want to do this and I want to do that. But then you get to probably about February, I think, is where most people's New Year resolutions go off the rails, if they ever even got on the rails to begin with. And there's a reason for that. There's actually a lot of reasons for it. Psychologically, and I'm no expert on psychology for sure, but I know that psychologically, when people wait for these certain milestones or these lines in the sand, for them to make these changes in their lives, they're already giving themselves permission to slack off up until the time that you're supposed to move into action. If you have already identified that you need to be making a change in your life, that you need to be up-leveling your business, your finances, whatever, there's no time like today to begin that. But when we say it's going to be in the future, it's going to be January 1st, it's going to be the beginning of 2022, it's going to be next week, it's going to be whenever, to say that that's when we're going to start, we're already saying that it's not really that important, because if it was really life-changing, if it was really something that mattered, we would want to do it now. And so anyway, we're not going to get into why we fail at New Year's resolutions. What I want to do is give you a goal framework, or a goal setting framework, so that you can succeed when you do set goals. There's nothing more fulfilling than telling yourself, I'm going to do this, and then this actually comes to pass. But most people are not great at keeping promises to themselves and making that commitment. And so today we're going to be talking about what you can do to make sure that the goals you set for yourself, and I'm not just talking about New Year resolution, I'm talking about any goal you have for yourself. And in the case of the people who are in my audience, you are wanting to start a high ticket coaching business where you can earn 6 or 7 figures a year, helping other people to solve the problems that they are struggling with. Okay. So that's what we're specifically talking about. But this goal framework can work for anybody and for any goal. So the first thing you have to do, and it goes back to something I just said, is you need to be very intentional. You need to set your intention from day one. That includes your commitment to see it through. That means that you have decided that no more. This is what I'm going to have, and I want to have it now. It's in the now. It's in the decisiveness that you have real power to move forward. When you say, oh, I need to think about it, or I'll do it in a couple of weeks, that means that it's not really that important to you. Because why would you be saying that this is of dire importance, but it's not dire enough to start right now? That's not dire. And so for goals, you have to really be intentional about, why is it that I want to do this thing? Is this really something that matters? Because a lot of times people are setting goals for things that don't really matter to them. And that's why they don't get to them. It's something where you're like, I can take it or leave it, or you've not connected to the why behind what you're doing. And so that's why you're kind of lackadaisical about moving towards it. You should only be setting goals for things where you can't imagine your life without that thing. Because if you can imagine your life without achieving that goal, human beings are like water. We're going to go for the path of least resistance. We're going to go for the easiest thing, the thing that's least scary, the thing that's least painful, right? And so if you can see your life either way, you're going to go the way that doesn't require you to change. But when you can look at your life and say, if I don't change this thing, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be satisfied. That's when you're going to move forward. But you have to have intention. You have to know what it is that you want and why it is that you want it. All of that is a part of setting your intention. And then it has to be crystal clear. Not being clear on what it is you want to achieve in the specifics of it is another reason why you don't achieve it. If I say I want to lose weight, well, if you lose 1 ounce or half an ounce, you've lost weight. But that's not what you're talking about. If you're talking about losing a certain amount of weight, you need to say that. You have to be clear. What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? Is it that I'm trying to, save money so that I can buy a house? Then you need to say that. If it should be crystal clear to somebody. If you're explaining it to them and they don't even know who you are or anything about your life, it should be clear to them what it is you're trying to accomplish. It should not be vague. It should not be lose weight. It should be how much weight, or what are you trying to fit into? And that clarity is also tied to the next two things on the list, but being crystal clear about what it is. Don't say aspirational things like, I want to live a better life, live my best life. That's not a thing. Like, you might be living your best life if you do certain things, but what are those things you have to do to live your best life? Being very clear about what it is you're talking about is going to make your goals more powerful and therefore more effective. And then the next two things on the list, which I just mentioned, one of those things is that your goals need to be quantifiable. There needs to be some numbers attached to it, actual numbers, because that's going to help you to be able to measure whether you have achieved your goal or not. Sometimes we're kind of left out in limbo with your goals because you're not even sure how you are going to know that you have accomplished your goal because it wasn't clear. And so you have no way of truly measuring the accomplishment or lack thereof. But when you put numbers on it, again, back to the weight example, you're losing 20 pounds. That's specific. And you need to also be clear about where you're starting from, because 20 pounds, that can keep moving day by day. You need to know, I'm starting at this weight. I want to lose 20 pounds. Then that's very clear. So if you're starting at 160 and you want to get to 140, you'll know whether you got there when the scale says 140 or it doesn't say it. That's what quantifiable goals do for you. You know, if you want to save money, don't just say save money. How much money are you saving? Is it $1,000 a month? Is it $20,000 by August so you can put a down payment on a house? What is that dollar figure? And these are just examples because they're easy for people to resonate with. But this applies to anything. Starting your business. Don't just say, I'm going to start my business this year. You need to be crystal clear. What kind of business? I had to get coaching business. Okay, how are you going to know that you've started? How are you going to know that you've succeeded? Oh, when I'm making $50,000 a month. That's when I know that I have done the thing I want to do. So my goal is to start my high ticket coaching business and earn $50,000 a month. The second thing underneath being clear is the date. You need to give yourself a deadline. And that is the scariest part because now it's real. If I tell you to set a date for having launched your coaching business and you say, I need to have it launched by March the 1st, now it's real. And the reason why people are resistant to setting a date is because they know now I got to get up off my butt and do something. And don't say I have all year to do it. No, you don't. You don't have 12 more months to sit in your job. You don't have 12 more months to be underpaid and unappreciated. You don't have 12 more months to be overworked. You don't have 12 more months to watch your family fall further and further behind, or watch your emotional and mental health take more and more of a beating because you can't stand where you are right now. You don't have all year for that. Your goal needs to be something that pushes you. Your goal needs to be something that's aggressive. It needs to be reasonable. It needs to be something that you can, in your human strength, achieve. But don't make it so easy that it doesn't inspire you. If you say, I'm going to start my business by December 31st of next year, are you going to do anything right now? No, but you got 12 months to goof off. It needs to be something with a date on it, but it's a date that pushes you. An actual date, and put that mug on your calendar. An actual date is going to drive you. I would say of all the things I'm talking about in this goal framework, that's the most important part. Because when you know you only have 2 months to do a thing, now you have to get started. Or however many months it is, depends on what it is. But set a goal and put a date on it that pushes you to start now. So we've talked about setting your intention. We've talked about making things super clear so even a stranger would understand, putting a date on it, putting some numbers on it. Now you have to have a detailed action plan. So you've said, I'm going back to the saving $20,000 by August the 1st so I can put a down payment on my house. Okay, what's the detailed action plan? What are the things that you literally have to do in order to make that happen? Now, you've divided your goal up into, I guess that's going to be 7 months. So 7 different parts, whatever the dollar amount is that you have to save every month. And then what do you need to do to make sure that happens? Is there a direct deposit you need to set up? You need to route money over to a savings account? Do you need to cut back on certain things? Do you need to cancel some subscriptions? Do you need to let some people know you're not going to be available to give them money? Whatever those things are that you need to do, write those things down and put dates on those things, right? You have to know everything that you need to do, or it's just save money. Okay, $20,000 is a lot of money, to save up if you're just working your job and just trying to set some extra money aside. It's big. You need to break it down. You need to chunk it up, set that big goal, but then chunk it back down into bite-sized pieces. And what do I need to do this week? What do I need to do today to make that happen? And start doing those things and put some dates on it. Put some appointments on your calendar and make yourself do those things. And then the dailiness of your goals is, if I had to say, there's another most important part to having effective goals that actually land and actually happen, instead of meandering around in the air up there and never happening, is the dailiness of it. You have to connect to your goal every day, and you have to act on your goal every day. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing what you consider a major task. Some things have some lag time. There may be some waiting time where you're waiting for certain things to happen before you can move on with the next step. But even with that, the connecting to the goal, recommitting to it every day, that is essential, or otherwise other things are going to come in and distract you away from what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Trust and believe. There's a million things out here that you can be doing with your time, with your money, with your energy, with your body, with your mind, with your spirit. There's always something else that wants to come in and take over. So you have to be intentional and connecting every day to your budget, connecting every day to your plan, connecting every day to those things that are keeping you on the pace. That is a part of acting on your goals daily, is connecting to them and recommitting to them. And then you have to celebrate the small wins. Celebrating can take on many forms. You decide. It doesn't have to mean it has to be a big to-do, but you have to pat yourself on the back. For example, if you're using the $20,000 in the first 7 months of the year, saving that up, when you hit that 2-week mark or that first month and you've saved 1/7 of your goal, you need to celebrate. Doesn't mean you got to go out and, do something crazy or spend money or anything like that, but you write it down, you journal about it, you celebrate it, you tell somebody who's on the journey with you and have them to celebrate with you, and acknowledge that even though you're not all the way there, you're on the way there. You're not all the way there, but you're on the way there. See, sometimes when the goals are far out, if you don't celebrate it, you're not going to let yourself feel good about it until the day you're done. You won't get there because you're going to get discouraged. You're going to get distracted and fall off course. Make sure that you're celebrating along the way. And then finally, you have to be able to keep track of where you are at all times. Actually, that should go before celebrating your wins, because you won't know whether you have, whether you are reaching a milestone that you can celebrate if you're not keeping track. It should be something where at any moment you should be able to go somewhere, to some document, to some book, to some website, or somewhere in your little universe, and see where you are at any given time, so that when you get discouraged or you get tempted to go off track, you can say, hey, wait a minute, I'm on track. I'm keeping track of it. Part of your daily connection, as a matter of fact, is tracking towards your goals and being able to get in there and see where you are at any given time, so that you can see the progress that you're making and keep on course. When you have a goal setting framework that actually lands in a way that you're not only setting the goal, but a goal execution framework where your goals are actually a part of your daily life, they're a part of the positive side of your life, they actually will land. But here's what I know is true. When I started talking, I laid out these 8 steps, or these 8 pieces to setting goals that are actually going to be achieved. Some of you, your eyes probably glazed over because it sounded like a lot. For people that aren't maybe super organized or super detailed, some of this stuff can be overwhelming and seem like I can't do that, not with all the stuff I'm trying to accomplish. And I get that. It can be overwhelming. And sometimes you need step-by-step guidance and support and help to actually set these goals, let alone achieve them. And I know that a lot of you are looking at it. This year is wrapping up. We're done in a few days and we're starting a new year. And you have that feeling of a fresh start, a new page that you're turning, a new calendar that you're starting, and you want to do well. But you know that the last few years, when you said, I'm going to become a coach, or I'm going to level up my business, I want to be able to travel more, I want to be able to get my finances under control, I want to be able to earn 6-7 figures, but you didn't have any of this stuff in place, none of this goal setting. And you also did not have a vehicle by which to make it happen, because even with the best goals, if you don't know how to make them happen, you're still going to be stuck. So maybe you've had a few years of disappointment, maybe more than a few years, and you realize you need help. You need guidance to get where you want to go. You don't want to just be out here ham scamming and trying to figure it out on your own and crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, all while your employer is still taking days, years off of your life to build their fortune, while you and your family are sitting there with the crumbs every 2 weeks. You want more for your life. You want to be able to take what you know, what you are phenomenal at, and turn it into a premium price coaching business where you can help other people while you're helping yourself. The famous Zig Ziglar always said, and I'm paraphrasing, that you can get everything that you want out of life when you help other people get what they want first. When you help enough people to get what they want, you can get what you want. But you have to know how. You have to know how to get in there and turn your expertise into something that the market is begging for and is willing to invest into. And it starts with us having a conversation. I'm offering some free breakthrough calls on my calendar in the next couple of days. I've got some time. Don't wait to the new year, because if you wait to the new year to get started, you might not get started. Do it now. Go to melaniehunter.com/chat and get on my calendar. It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to get super honest about what's going on, what's at stake, what's keeping you stuck, and what will happen if you don't get out of this hole. And then we're going to map out a game plan to get you there as quick as possible. Where it's there to where you can go out and you can be earning $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 per client for what you are great at. No more earning $30, $35 an hour. Or even if you make more than that, but it's taking up all your time, or you're doing things that you don't want to do. Whatever it is, it's about the time, it's about the money. You want to be able to turn your expertise into a high ticket coaching empire. And you can do that, and it doesn't have to take forever. And it's not super complex. It's a lot simpler than you might think. But I want to talk to you about what it's going to take to get you there and see if we're fit to work together. I can't help everybody, but I'm sure that some of you out there are a fit, and I want to talk to you to see if we can work together to get you to your dreams. Again, my calendar is at melaniehunter.com/chat. Don't be afraid. Take that first step. It can be nerve-wracking to actually get on my calendar. I know, because that's making it real. That's another one of those things of setting a date and making it real. But guess what? When you do it, you're going to feel so much better, because you're going to be no longer just talking about it, but you're going to be being about it. And that's where you're going to feel fulfilled. That's where you're going to feel proud of yourself. And that's when you're going to be taking that first step to get to your dreams. So again, melaniehunter with 2 L's.com/chat. That's where you need to go to book your free breakthrough call with me, so that you can get started on your high ticket coaching business in the new year. It's been my pleasure to share with you today. I'll be back next time for another exciting training broadcast. Get on my calendar now. I've got a few spots open before the new year. Get on the calendar now. Don't delay, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.